Boxes! Aren't they amazing? They give you a nice safe space to store your game so it remains in pristine condition for decades to come. You can fit a manual in there as well, and there's also this weird space for a memory card which no one in history has ever used. Seriously, do they think people are buying a new memory card for every single different game they own? All the boxes have this. Anyway, by using your eyes you can also get visual clues to what each game is about from the front and the back. For example, this game, which has World Rally Championship written on it, looks like it's based on the World Rally Championship. Let's see. Yep, that's definitely a rally car. Well done, box. This one, called Lotus Challenge, gives you the impression that you can drive different Lotuses in some sort of challenge scenario. And indeed you can. Excellent. And then there's this, Crescent Suzuki Racing, another game with a name brand on the front, so it'll obviously be chock full of Suzuki superbikes and Suzuki super sidecars, right? Well, why don't we jump in and have a peek? On first inspection, there's not a single Suzuki to be found anywhere. No Suzuki bikes, no Suzuki sidecars, no other types of Suzuki. But they've made a big deal on the box about Suzuki riding champions John Reynolds and Steve Webster being in it, so where are they hiding? As you may have guessed, it's one of those games where you have to unlock everything gradually by winning your way through all the different championships. Oh joy! Only once the game deems you worthy enough to ride a Suzuki, then you can actually do so. You thought you could just pop the disc in and start racing them? Don't be absurd. I suppose I better start making my way up the ranks, which means jumping into the Amateur Championship. You get a small selection of generic bikes and sidecars to start with, which have imaginative names like Superbike V1 and Superside V2. We start in the made up land of Woodcut Park, so it seems they haven't been able to license anywhere real to ride around. We're racing a generic bike around a generic track. How exciting! At first glance, the graphics don't appear too bad. The background looks pretty cool, especially as at this track there's a theme park operating and an air show taking place. I'm surprised anyone's bothering to watch the race with everything else going on around them. In fact, why stop there? Let's add some more stuff for the fans. How about a NASA shuttle launch? The opening of Jurassic Park? Let's shove Elton John in as well. It's the greatest festival the world's ever seen. The bikes and sidecars are a bit boring now after all that. I don't think you would describe them as visual masterpieces. Not much detail, just some different colours. It's the PS2 though, so not really unexpected. The riders aren't exactly wrestling their machines to extract the ultimate performance from them either. It's more like they're going on a leisurely Sunday morning ride through the Cotswolds. It's also been surprisingly easy. It's currently set to the medium difficulty, and I've been waltzing away from everyone with barely any opposition. Maybe the other drivers are too distracted by the constant stream of jets and hot air balloons flying overhead. Even when I've had a mild coming together with the AI and lost a bucket load of time to the rest of the field, I'm able to catch up within about 4 milliseconds. Incidentally, when the AI crashes, check out the awesome animation work. It looks like the riders died. Uh-oh, the T-Rex has escaped and has eaten Elton John. Probably a good time to move on with the video. So I've gone through the amateur championships for the superbikes and the sidecars, winning most of the races. Not that there were many to win, they only had 4 races each. With such a short season, it's like the game's set in 2020. As the amateur champion, I'm now eligible for the pro championships. Still no sign of any Suzukis though, it's just more generic machines being unlocked. Superbike 3 is now available. Yay! The pro races are much more in depth though, we're up to 5 races now. And it's more of the same, racing generic superbikes and sidecars against other generic superbikes and sidecars. The tracks don't vary much either. The box claims it has 16 circuits, but that's a little disingenuous. In fact, it's utter bollocks. What it really has is 5, but within those they have different variations. For instance, 3 of them have pro versions, so some of the track is the same, but they add a few different corners in to mix it up a bit. That takes us up to 8, and to make it 16, you get to drive around all of them backwards as well. I suppose they are different circuits in a way, but not really. You'd feel a bit short-changed if I offered to make you 16 different meals and you ended up with these. Anyway, you win both of the Pro Championships and still no Suzukis. For God's sake, how far through this game do you need to get? More generic bikes and sidecars become available, but aside from the different colours, what's the point to them? There's no stats anywhere telling me one is faster than another, or has better handling. They're all just the same. The final championships are the Super Cups, a whopping 6 races each. Ooh! I'm not sure I have the energy for those just yet, so let's check out the other way to unlock stuff in this game, the time trial mode. There's 16 to do, one for each of their different circuits. They give you a bike or a sidecar, set you a lap time to beat, and once you beat it, you unlock a bike and move on to the next one. Unlike the championships with their piss poor AI, these can actually be somewhat challenging. On a few occasions I found myself needing literally multiple attempts to beat a lap time. You have to pull off the perfect lap, which can be tricky when up until now, mediocre laps have been sufficient to win everything. Eventually, with enough practice and a fair bit of swearing, I completed Time Trial 15. And what's this? I've actually unlocked a Suzuki! Hallelujah! But it's still not the ones advertised in the blurb on the back of the box. John Reynolds and Steve Webster. Look, it's right there! As it turns out, they are the reward for completing Time Trial 16. But you can't take that on just yet. Oh no. The game hasn't dragged this out for quite long enough, it seems. First, you need to win the 2 Super Cup championships, so let's quickly get through that. All done, and I still haven't unlocked the last time trial. What more does it want from me? Ugh. Let me check the manual. Win all the races as well. It's not enough to win the championships, you've got to dominate them. No, I had managed to win most of them, but there's a couple I didn't. So I'm guessing I've got to go back and do them again. Finally, we've unlocked the last time trial. And after a handful of attempts, I managed to beat it. After what's felt like about 345 hours of playing this game, I can now race Suzukis on Crescent Suzuki Racing. So let's give it a go! The problem is, I've done everything now. The game's complete. All I can do is ride the Suzukis around the same tracks, in the same championships, against the same opposition that I've already beaten. What's the point? That's always been my problem with these sorts of games where you have to unlock everything first. By the time you've got to the best and most interesting stuff, the game's over. Can you imagine if, on the latest F1 game, there was just a bunch of generic racing cars available at the beginning? You unlock the Williams by winning a race, you get a racing point for winning the championship, or the Ferrari becomes available after breaking the lap record at every single track. Want to race as Lewis Hamilton? I'm afraid you'll need to set pole position, fastest lap and win every race in a 10-year career mode before the Mercedes is unlocked. I mean, this game is called Crescent Suzuki Racing, yet you can't ride a Suzuki until the very end. You're not even racing against them. If you bought this game, it's because you like Suzuki as a brand. You didn't buy it to ride around on Superbike V3. So this box is one big lie. It's overpromised on what's inside, because what's inside is a big pile of arse. Why, this box isn't amazing at all.